Hey everybody! I'm going to give you just a few seconds to join us here. This is Chef Ashley from EdVenture, and I'm doing our segment Adventure Eats at Home. So I'm going to give you guys just a few minutes to hop on, and we will get started. Today we're making a sausage and veggie frittata. So I'm going to give you guys just a few seconds. I'm going to go wash my hands. If you're tuning in, make sure you've got clean hands before we get started, okay? So just a second, and we will get started. Hello to everybody tuning in at home. So glad to have you. Again, Chef Ashley with EdVenture, and we're doing Adventure Eats at Home. And today we're going to be making a veggie and sausage frittata. So hopefully you guys have seen, we've been posting all of the ingredients all week so that you guys can kind of gather. Chef Kenny's going to be live too. He's going to be down in the comment section answering any questions you guys might have as we go along. So he can definitely answer any questions you've got there. Just ask away and he's here for you. He did our segment last week. And so each week we're going to be doing something really easy and fun at home using stuff that you probably already have in your fridge. Hey, Chef Kenny. All right, so I'm going to give you guys just a few minutes. We've got 9-10 people. I'm going to wait just a second. So before we get started, one thing that you can do is go ahead and preheat your oven. So I've got mine on broil, and hopefully your oven at home's got a low and a high setting. You're going to want to put that on low. If you have high, totally fine. Just go ahead and get your oven preheating so that it'll be ready when we get our frittata started. All right, so ingredients. What's really important about this frittata is it's super easy. So we're going to be using the things that we have at home. So I've got some spinach. We've got spinach. We've got red bell peppers, some onion. Our recipe calls for mushrooms, but in true quarantine fashion, I couldn't find mushrooms, so I'm not going to use them today. I'm going to use what I have. If you've got mushrooms, then absolutely use them, okay? If you've got zucchini, if you've got squash, if you've got hot peppers, anything that you've got in your refrigerator that you want to use, you are more than welcome to use that. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I've got my onion, got about a half an onion, and I'm going to go ahead and slice it, and then I'm going to get that into a dice. So we're going to slice one way, change directions, and then dice it up. Now what we can do is go ahead and get our pan preheated. We're going to put it on about medium-high, and we're going to throw a little bit of butter in there. So that pan's going to be getting a little bit warm and ready for these veggies as soon as we've got them chopped. So I'm going to add that straight into my pan. I'm using a cast iron skillet. You want to use something that's oven friendly so that when we throw it into the oven, it doesn't melt. So cast iron is a really, really good choice. All right, so we've got our diced onion, and now we're going in for the bell pepper. I love red. You can use orange, you can use green, you can use yellow, you can use whatever you've got. It's totally going to work. Same thing here. We're going to use a slicing method straight through, and then switch directions, and we're going to dice those slices. And we want them to kind of be about the same size as the onion so that everything's going to cook at the same rate in the pan. So about the same size. A nice dice is good. If you've got those mushrooms at home, you're going to want to go ahead and do the same thing. Mushrooms kind of cook down, so if you want to, you can slice them. If you want to dice them, it's literally whatever you want to. And I'm going to try to show you guys. We've got a nice dice on there. So you want the peppers and the onions to be about the same size. If you got your mushrooms, give those a go. If you've got some zucchini, those are delicious. Sweet potato and potatoes are really good in frittatas too, so we're going to get that going. All right, now spinach. An easy thing to do with spinach is to just kind of grab it in a huge bunch, and then you're just going to slice it up. Same thing. There we go. And how easy was that? We've got all of our veggies ready to go. My butter's melted in my pan. I'm going to kind of move it around a little bit so it's covering the whole pan, and those veggies are going straight in. Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten breakfast or lunch. Very bad. So I cannot wait to eat this. Alright, so I'm going to crank it a little bit. We're going to get it going at about medium high. And what we're looking for here is we want everything to start to soften. So we want everything to start to get a little bit softer. And of course it's going to cook in the oven, but the oven is more of kind of a step to kind of bring those eggs together. So we really kind of want most of our cooking done here in the pan. So I've got it cranked. And what I like to do as I'm cooking is season as I go. So I'm going to season my eggs. And I'm, of course, going to season all of my veggies because you want that seasoning to go through each layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of salt, pepper, and my special ingredient, which I'm going to show you guys. So I've got salt and pepper, just a little bit, because we're going to do that through each layer. Pepper. If you wanted to add Italian seasoning, you totally could. If you wanted to have more of a Mexican thing going on, you could add some cumin or some adobo seasoning. I really like Lowry's garlic powder because it's got parsley and a little bit of pepper in it. It has lots of flavor, so I'm going to put a little bit of that in there. All right. There you go. And now we're cooking. All right, so while that's kind of cooking down a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and start with our eggs. All right, so we've got 6 eggs, which should fill our cast iron pretty well. If you're cooking for more people, you can use more eggs. You could use 8. If you've got 2 people at home and you don't think you're going to eat it, which you will because it's delicious, you could do 4 eggs. So it's just kind of really easy. That's why I like this recipe, because we can do anything that we want to with it. All right, so if you're at home and you're not sure how to crack eggs, I'm going to show you a trick. So I like to use a flat surface instead of hitting it on the side of the bowl. So I'm going to hit the flat surface, crack it once, and then use my 2 thumbs here to pull it apart. There we go. And we are going to do all 6 eggs. Tap it, pull it apart. There we go. And I learned a trick from Rachel Ray. She just puts everything right back into the bowl so that she can just dump it out when she's all finished. Alright, tap it, pull it apart. And a trick, if you get a little bit of eggshell into your eggs, what I've learned is that if you use the bigger piece of shell, it will kind of magnetize to it and scoop it out really easily instead of trying to use a spoon or a fork. So if that happens, don't feel bad. It happens to all of us. Alright, so we've got all 6 eggs in there. And now what a really important step is you've got to wash your hands. We've got eggs all over our hands, so run to the sink really quick and wash your hands with some hot water, okay? You can hear those veggies going. It smells really good. I can smell the peppers, which are my favorite. Give your hands a good wash. All right. So now we've got clean hands, we've got our eggs, and again, seasoning is really important, so we're going to go back in with the seasoning. We've got cracked pepper, some of that in there, our salt, and then my secret ingredient, which isn't so secret. I'm sure lots of people use garlic powder, but I like Lowry's. A little sprinkle of that in there. Alright, so we're almost ready to go. Don't forget about your veggies. Let's give them a quick stir. See how they're doing. Everything's softening up really nicely. You can smell everything. It's going to be so good. Alright, so we've got our eggs. Now we're going to pour in that 1/2 cup of milk, heavy cream, or half and half. And I say that because with this recipe, again, whatever you have goes. So we're going to pour our milk, our 1/2 and half, or our heavy whipping cream straight in there with that seasoning, and we're going to go ahead and beat these eggs. Alright, so we've got to get those yolks well incorporated, that liquid well incorporated, those seasonings well incorporated. Alright, and I think we're ready to go. Next step. And if I'm going really, really fast, which I am, you can always replay if you need to kind of slow down. You can always replay, share with your friends, catch it later, refer back to it. It'll always be on that adventure page live for you. So no worries. If I'm going really fast, don't stress at all. So we've got our veggies going. We've seasoned them. We've got our eggs. We've seasoned them. Now we've got that sausage that we were talking about earlier. So with the sausage, you can use pork sausage. You can use chicken sausage, which I really like. You can use veggie sausage. And if you don't want to put any sort of meat product in there, you don't have to at all. Sometimes I don't feel like it, so I don't put it in there. Bacon works well too, or you can just double up on the veggies. Again, whatever you want. So we're going to add that in. Oh yeah, can you hear that? So we're going to add those sausages in, and the smells are going to another level here. It smells so good. So we've got veggies, sausage, everything's ready to go. Now my trick is that we want everything really well incorporated into the frittata. So you're going to take your handle and you're going to kind of shake it around to kind of get everything even across this whole skillet. And you can use your spatula to kind of even it out. And what we're going to do now is we're going to bring that temperature down. So let's do like a medium. So mine goes all the way up to high, which is an 8. So I'm going to put mine down to like a 4.5 or 5. Especially with cast iron, it gets really, really, really hot. So we don't want to burn the bottom of our frittata. All right? So temp way down. And we're about ready to go. So I'm going to tell you what we're going to do next because this step kind of moves really fast. So what we're going to do is we're going to be adding our egg to the skillet. And a frittata is like this really cool dish. It's sort of like a quiche, but with no crust. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the egg to go in with those toppings. We're going to cook the bottom of it in our skillet, and we'll know that the bottom's cooked because I'm going to show you guys. And then what we do is we put it into the oven under broil because that like cooks the top of it. So we're going to put some cheese in there. So everything's going to come together. We're going to cook the bottom of it on our stovetop here, and then the top's going to cook in the oven. So make sure you've got your oven low broil. If you only have one setting, that's okay, but we're going to keep a really close eye on it because we don't want to burn this guy, okay? So now that the temperature's kind of come down, I'm going to show you what we're looking like here. Yours should look something like this. All right, and now we're ready for egg. So we're just going to go ahead and pour that over the top of those veggies, that delicious sausage. There we go. And go ahead and put that in the sink. And what I like to do here is we've got cheese. Of course we need cheese. Cheese is like the best thing ever. It should be its own food group. We're going to go ahead and put the cheese in so that it can start to melt. Not only into the eggs, but once we throw it under the broiler, it's going to kind of get all melty and delicious on top. Another thing that you can do is whenever you add your milk or your half and half or whatever in there, you can throw the cheese in if you want it more well incorporated in there. Either way, like I said, the frittata is the most easy dish in the entire universe because it's really hard to mess it up. You just kind of throw it all in and it all comes together. All right, so what we're going to be looking for here with our frittata is we want to kind of see that those eggs have like started to set on the bottom but not really cook. So we want to start keeping a really close eye on it here. So the way that I do that, and this is kind of like whenever you're making an omelet, is you kind of want to check the sides. So if the sides are really, really, really liquidy, that means you might need to give it a few more minutes because we're wanting the sides to kind of firm up. So I'm going to put mine up a little bit because my cast iron gets really hot and then it cools off kind of quickly. So I'm going to put it on about a 5. Now one thing you can do, especially if you're sort of running low on time, is you can take your spatula and kind of just move your eggs around. You don't want to move them too much because we really want them to set, but you can kind of just move it around a little bit like that. And I can see it starting to set on the bottom, which is awesome. It smells really good. It's going to be awesome. All right. So Your frittata should be starting to firm up on the bottom and on the sides, and you're still going to be seeing a little bit of a jiggle there, and that's totally fine because that's what the broiler's for. Now, before we get it going into the broiler, you've got to get an oven-safe mitt because this is going to be really, really hot. So go ahead and get your oven-safe mitt. Here we go. And I see some bubbles on top of my frittata, which means it's probably about ready to go in. So we're going to carefully take our oven-safe pan and our frittata, and we're going to say adios into the oven for just a few minutes. Go ahead and close it. Now the thing with broil is, things can go left really fast. So you've got to keep an eye on it. You can't walk away. It's like leaving something really hot on the stovetop. So we want to keep a very close eye on this. And thankfully, the camera doesn't go too close into my oven because you would see how dirty it is. But I'm going to let you know. So we're going to just keep giving it a peek. And what you're going to see is that it starts to puff up as it cooks. So we probably got 2 minutes before it, really gets going. So what I'm going to do, and kids, this is really helpful if you're cooking with your parents at home, is to start to gather all of the dishes and get those things out of your way so that we can be ready to eat this frittata when it comes out. So you can go ahead and grab those, get rid of those eggshells. We're going to let it go for just a second. Hopefully you guys are all caught up, and if not, this will give you just a second to kind of get caught up to where we are. This frittata is going to be so delicious. It's such an easy thing to do. You're going to be making these every Saturday morning, I promise. They're so good. All right, I'm going to check again. Oh yeah, it's going. And I have my rack kind of set low, so what I think I might do is put mine up on high because it has further down to go. So I'm going to put my broil on high, but that means that I'm going to keep a closer eye on it, okay? So just kind of keep an eye on that frittata. You'll see the sides start to bubble up, and you'll see that cheese starting to melt. That's when you know it's good. I'm going to kind of look and see what you guys are saying. Oh yeah, there's Chef Kenny. I'm so glad he's there to answer your questions. He did so good last week. We're having so much fun cooking at home with you guys. I hope you guys are liking it. If you have any suggestions on stuff that you would like Chef Kenny and I to cook too, put it in the comments below because we totally read these and we would love to know what you guys are wanting to see us cook. All right, let me check this guy again. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's getting there. Probably needs like 1 more minute. Definitely turn off the top of your stove. Don't want to burn yourself. Oh yeah, you can see that cheese is getting all bubbly and melty. The sides are puffing up, and it looks just like a delicious quiche. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to eat this. Yep, it needs like maybe 30 more seconds. So what can you eat with a frittata? Fruit salad's my favorite. Like Chef Kenny did with the quesadillas last week, you can put sour cream or guacamole on top. Frittatas are really good on their own, though. You don't need anything to go with them. They're kind of like a one-pot meal. They're so great. All right. One cool thing that you'll see about a frittata is when it comes out, it kind of is really, really big, and then it kind of like deflates a little bit, like a souffle. It's kind of cool to watch. All right, so I've got my oven mitt. I'm going to pull it out and kind of check on it. I think it needs, just because of my personal preference, I think it needs a few more seconds because I want that cheese like golden and crispy on top. So I'm going to give it a sec. But how easy was this? Really easy. All right, it's all done. Out of the oven we come. I'm going to try to show you guys what it looks like here. Hopefully yours looks the same. Nice and set on top. The bottom is nice and set from when we were cooking it on the stove top. We are all ready to go. Now the last step with your delicious frittata, of course, is that we're going to have to cut it up. Let's go ahead and turn our ovens off so that all of our hot surfaces And go ahead and start to cool down. And the way that you want to cut this, well, you could just eat the whole thing, which is what I do sometimes. But if you want to share it with other people, you're going to cut it like a pie. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Oh, that cheese is so melty. Yum! You can cut it into 4. You can cut it into 6. You can eat it out the pan. You can do whatever you want. And these are just like kind of my go-to Saturday thing because they're just really, really easy. And they're like an omelet that just all comes together in one pan. They're so good. All right, so let me find something to scoop this guy out with so I can show you. Now, if kids are cooking at home, you probably don't like really spicy stuff, but I love spicy, so I might put some chili peppers, some hot sauce on it, but of course you do not have to do that. Alright, so we've got it all cut. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to eat this. I'm going to make a cup of tea and eat my frittata. Yes! Yes, yes, yes. Smells amazing. All right, what do you guys think? Check it out. How easy was that? We just did it in one cast iron skillet, threw in whatever we had. If you didn't want to do veggies, you could leave those out. If you wanted all meat, you could do that. If you wanted to add all the cheeses, you could do that. That's why this is such an awesome, versatile dish. I hope you guys had fun. If you have any questions, of course, just keep them coming in the comments section. We would be very, very happy to answer those. If you have any suggestions, let us know. Chef Kenny and I always want to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you for tuning in, but before we go, I have to take a bite and see how it is. Because what kind of chef doesn't eat their own food? That is weird. All right. Oh my gosh, yes. You guys, we did an awesome job. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Let us know if you have any questions. EdVenture Eats at Home. If you make this at home, hashtag us, tag us, and we would be happy to share it. Okay, see you next time, guys. Bye.